The Irish Spectrum Radio it is. It's good to have you along. I'm Jerry Byrne. Creed's Cross, formed in 2014. They're a Celtic folk rock band building on the success of their first album, Gods and Fighting Men, which included the acclaimed single The Irish Band. Now, Creed's Cross are gaining a well-deserved reputation as must-see artists. Now, their newest show, The Celtic Journey, begins at the Hawth Theatre, Crawley on the 19th of January. It runs at several venues until July, which you can see at www.creedscross.com. And I'm pleased to welcome the founder of the band, Bart Foley. Bart, good afternoon.
Jerry, how are you doing, man?
Not too bad at all, Bart. Now, we'll be hearing tracks on the programme later and in the weeks ahead. And your upcoming tour will be a showcase of what's been described by one critic as a spectacular show of electrifying music, dance and tribal rhythms.
Sure, that's very kind of him. I suppose it's quite an accurate description, I suppose. It's I kind of came up with the concept of the show because I've been to see an awful lot of sort of Irish shows, and there was a bit of dancing and there was a bit of all sorts going on. And just to kind of sum up, this old lassie came up to me after Epsom a couple of weeks back, and she said, well, I was kind of expecting to see the river dance, but she said I was nicely surprised. So I take that as a compliment. I'm really hoping that's a compliment because
wow.
What it is kind of like it's a mixture of some great songs. All the old classics are in there, but then we have some fantastic dancers coming on and off, and we try and tell a story. I mean, the whole thing is basically, it's based on the journey of the fiddle and the banjo. So we go across to America and we stop off at Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Nashville, you know, and there's all sorts of very nice, famous songs, you know, like Devil Went Down to Georgia, for example. We give our own twists on some big, famous folk songs. I mean, in my opinion, like Fleetwood Mac, one of the biggest bands in the world, they're a folk band, fundamentally. So we do our own sort of traditional version of The Chain, you know, stuff like that, Jerry, you know.
Right, okay. It certainly sounds an interesting mix. Now, who else sort of joins you on stage? What are their backgrounds?
Right, well, I've got a fantastic bunch of musicians. I mean, my right-hand man is a fella called Brian Kelly. Brian hails from County Mayo. He's one of the most phenomenal banjo players you'll ever see in your life. He cut his teeth with Shane McGowan and went around the world a couple of times with Shane. Then we've got a lovely girl called Alice Morgan on the keyboards. Alice was musical director for the National Theatre. Maria Croon on the fiddle. Maria just has to be seen to be believed. She's phenomenal. And then we have Martin Stewart, who's ex-Sharon Core, and Julian Lennon on the drums. Rachel Downey is our lead dancer. She's ex 5 years with River Dance. And then our lead lad on the dance is a guy called Jan Gaka. He's half European, half Irish descent, and he's twice world champion on the step dancing. So there's quite a bit of a pedigree on that stage with me. So I've got an awful lot to live up to, Jerry. Do you know what I mean?
Right, there's certainly it's a truly international cast of members in the band. Now, absolutely. Now, no doubt that everybody goes along to the concerts is in for a treat. And what is actually the show? Basically, it's as you said, it's the music, it's the dancing, it's a mix of sort of everything. It's the story of the fiddle and the banjo.
And the banjo, yeah. It's like, you know, way back in the day when the Irish immigrants left Ireland. I mean, I've been doing an awful lot of research on this, and it's a story that really fascinates me. It's you know. The Irish got off the boat and then they all settled all over America, and predominantly sort of in the Midwest and down south, you know, like in the mountains and where Cajun music came from and stuff. And they didn't have an awful lot of money, so they worked very hard. So after work, the only time they'd get together and they'd have parties. And, you know, they'd be playing the fiddle and the old traditional tunes and then the lamenting songs. And that's where the Heartbreak Hotel and all that comes from in country music. You can trace all these roots back to country. And it's widely believed that, you know, the American square dancing and step dancing, that came from like the lively sort of Scots and the Irish around the campfires, you know, getting up and having a bit of a tune to the fiddles and the banjos. And it's a fascinating story how much of an influence. If you listen to like Cajun, because I spent an awful lot of time in Nashville over the years, and if you listen to like Cajun music and you listen to bluegrass music and you listen to like the older country, not so much the new modern rockier country now, but the older country, it's staggering to see the similarities in an awful lot of the riffs and how they've been adapted towards, to folk and country and bluegrass.
Right. Now, you clearly have your own unique style, but echoes of Galway Girl and the genre sort of Mumford and Sons have been mentioned, and when people have tried to sort of pinpoint your sound, which I suppose once again can only be taken as a compliment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if people are comparing us to the Galway Girl in its many formats, it's been done probably, I think it's one of the most covered songs in the world. Apparently Ed Sheeran's got it on his new album again, so it's going to have another lease of life apparently. But if we're being compared to that, then I can only just be absolutely humbled and delighted. What I've tried to do is I've tried to take contemporary songs and contemporary jigs and reels, give them a little bit of a modern twist without going down that whole... I know there's another genre of Celtic rock, which is much more on a sort of a punkier basis. It's nothing wrong with that, and fair play to the lads doing it, but it's not really my cup of tea. I want to take the fantastic melodies and the jigs and reels and just kind of give them a little bit of a modern twist and put a nice drum beat behind them and a nice bass line and stuff, and it just makes it gives it a slightly different twist on the whole the whole Irish, Celtic, Scottish thing,
Indeed. Now, I understand that you also do popular covers of classics such as like The Rocky Road to Dublin.
Yes, we've given a new lease of life. I had a lovely email from a woman in Wisconsin, in America, and she said, and I think this is a compliment, she said, I will never listen to The Rocky Road in the same way again. It's great fun. And what we do, we call it the Rocky Road medley. Because I start off and we sing 3 or 4 verses of the Rocky Road to Dublin, and then we set Brian Kelly, our banjo player, loose on the audience, the poor unsuspecting audience. And he's one of the finest banjo players, and he just goes off into a solo, and then it just develops from there. And it kind of has to be seen to be believed. He's a very shy lad, Brian, but when you put a banjo around his neck, he turns into a bit of a devil, So.
Why not? Irish culture and heritage has never been riding so high with, I think, mass popularity in the context of both the music and the song and the dancing.
Absolutely, Jerry.
Yeah, and we've moved on from displays of dancing to entire shows, and you're offering sort of the music and the dancing, which is also part of the complete show as well.
Oh, it is. It's a very integral part of the show, but I'm always very sort of quick to stress that. If you're going to come and see Creed's Cross and our new show, The Celtic Journey, it's not going to be all dance and it's not going to be all song. It's a mixture of both. Like, for example, we've taken, I don't know if you're familiar, I think everyone in the world is familiar with the film, The Titanic. But there's a great piece in that, which I think an awful lot of people can relate to, where old DiCaprio, he takes the posh bird and he says, look, do you want to go to a real party? And he takes it down to 3rd class. And then you have all those jigs and reels going on down there, and the bottles are being smashed around the place and stuff. So our show opener is, we take those jigs and reels, and I've given them a bit of a more contemporary, modern twist on it. And, our dancers are in from the off on that one, and then we'll go into one of our own songs called The Harvest, which is a big tune. And the dancers will be in for that. But then I'll pull it back and I'll have a bit of a chat and start the story on... and we do a song called Step It Out Mary, which is an old Sean McCarthy song from way back, and I tell the story of that because obviously Step It Out Mary, very, very popular song, but it's a lively song, but it's a very sad story.
Indeed.
So we'll tell the story through that song, and then the dancers won't be on for every song, but they'll be on and off a lot, and it kind of complements the whole show. So it genuinely is a story of a show of stories, song, and dance.
Certainly sounds like something exciting, and I think anybody who goes on there won't be disappointed. Now, for full details, if you go to the website Creed's Cross, as in CREEDS, creedscross.com, or you can get details on our website. And Bart, listen, hopefully somewhere along the way I managed to catch the show on from your tour from the 19th right through into July.
Well, Jerry, I'm hoping you come down, because I think that we definitely have to have a pint together and catch up, because you'll be the good man on this one. Thanks very much,
Bart. It's a real pleasure. Listen, continued success. You've been going well. You're into your 3rd year, and loads of success.
Well, to be honest, we are into the 3rd year now, and we're off to China, where there's talks of America, there's talks of Australia, New Zealand, and all sorts of stuff. But I'm just content that I can keep the lads and lassies out working, and the shows are going well, and they're very well received. So fingers crossed that everything keeps going the way it's going, Jerry.
Bart, listen, it's been lovely speaking to you, and Bart, listen, here's to lots of success in 2017.
You're a legend, Jerry. Thanks very much for having us on, man.
Bart, it's a real pleasure. Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks, man. Bye-bye now.
There we go, the music of Creed's Cross, sounding good indeed.